Hello, Prep Doggers. Today we're going to talk about collective nouns. What are collective nouns? Well, they name groups consisting of more than one individual or entity. Now, those are just fancy words for saying that if I have a lot of individual things, I group them together and I want to talk about them as a single group, that's a collective noun. Okay? The group is a single unit, but it has more than one member. Okay? Let's talk about the examples of those. I can have a cow. And then let's say I get several cows. So now I have a bunch of cows, and I want to talk about them, though, as a single group, because they're all just a bunch of cows, and we've come up with a word called herd to describe those cows, those individual cows that made up the group, and now they are a single herd. They're just one group of cows. I can do the same thing with birds. If I have a bunch of them, and I want to talk about them as that whole group of birds together, I call them a flock. Same thing with canines. Well, canines is a fancy word for dog. And when I'm talking about a bunch of dogs that get together, we talk about a single pack of dogs. Now, if I talk about an ant, I have several that I can choose from. I can talk about it being an army of ants, a colony of ants, a nest, or a swarm of ants. And with bees, I can call them either a swarm or a colony of bees. Now, collective nouns take singular verbs. Now, that's the key that we're looking at here. Even though a collective noun is made up of several different things, people or animals, when we talk about it as a single group. Single group needs a single verb, okay? And so when we look at the verbs on the sentences that I've given you here, let's go ahead and highlight the verb, okay? The herd is grazing on the hill. Now let's substitute a singular, in this case, let's say we're talking about cows. So instead of saying herd, let's put the word cow in there. The cow is grazing on the hill. That makes sense. I have a single cow, and I have a singular verb, is. The herd is grazing on the hill. Again, it's one herd or one group, and so I would use the singular verb is. Look at the second sentence down below. The cow are grazing on the hill. That's not right. And the reason that it's not right is the verb is plural. And again, we're talking about a singular noun here, the cow, or we could say the herd. And a singular noun needs a singular verb. Okay? And so this whole sentence is incorrect. Let's look at the second sentence. The flock was on the roof. Okay? I would not say the flock are on the roof because this is singular verb was, and are is plural. And again, we know flock is singular, cannot have the plural verb. Hope this clears up any misunderstandings you might have with collective nouns. And just remember that you take all of those groups, whether it's all the people in your class, and again, I just use a collective noun. I use the word class, and you understood what I meant. Each of you individually in your class is being grouped into one class, and so it becomes a collective noun.